people say, Idaho is quiet. Then you learn how loud its silence can be. Listen close, and these are not just places on a map. They are corners where lives frayed, legends stitched themselves around small facts. This piece is for those who prefer a slow, steady mystery, the kind that sits by your tea and doesn't need to shout. I'll take you through 5 of Idaho's weirdest places. Each one holds something that won't quite let go. 1. Crystal Gold Mine. The Crystal Gold Mine looks ordinary at first glance, just a forgotten cut of rock above Kendrick, its tunnels fenced, its entrance eaten by moss and time. But around here, people talk about the light. Back in the late 1800s, the mine was booming. Gold dust turned neighbors into rivals, and workdays stretched into nights lit by oil lanterns. One evening, a miner named Amos Reed stayed behind to finish a section before payday. The next morning, the mine was silent. A cave-in had sealed the lower shaft. They never pulled Amos out. Weeks later, when the mine reopened, another worker said he saw a flicker of yellow deep inside a lantern bobbing in the dark where no one dared to go. The foreman ordered everyone out. That mine shut down within the year. Over a century later, hikers still talk about that same faint light. It doesn't move like a flashlight. It sways slow, deliberate, like someone's working by hand, deep underground. Dogs whine when they pass the old fence line. Locals leave coins on the rocks, a miner's tribute. Some call it superstition. Others say Amos just kept to his shift. Whatever it is, no one goes near the tunnels after dusk, because every small town has one ghost that refuses to clock out. 2. Silver City. Tucked into the Owyhee Mountains, Silver City was once the loudest town in Idaho. By 1880, its saloons glowed all night, its streets filled with miners, gamblers, and drifters chasing fortune. Then the ore ran dry. The noise left, and the town froze in place. Today, Silver City is a ghost town, literally. Visitors who stay overnight at the old Idaho Hotel say they hear footsteps pacing the second floor, though every room is empty. In the saloon next door, locals tell the story of the lady with the empty glass. They say she was a barmaid named Claire, waiting for a lover who never came back from the mine. After he died, she returned every night, sitting in the same chair, pouring one drink, never touching it. When the bar closed for good, someone found her dress folded neatly on the counter and an empty shot glass beside it. Now, on moonless nights, travelers claim they see her seated at the old bar back, turned, hair pinned high, glass in hand. If you blink, she's gone. But the bar mirror stays fogged, like someone just exhaled on it. Even skeptics admit the air feels heavier there, like someone else is still deciding whether to stay. In Silver City, the gold's long gone, but the waiting never stopped. 3. Devil's Pulpit. There's a cliff in the 7 Devils Mountains where the earth seems to drop out from under the sky. They call it the Devil's Pulpit, a natural column that overlooks the Snake River Canyon. It's the kind of view that makes you forget how small you are until you realize something's whispering your name. Centuries before the name Devil's Pulpit, this was sacred ground for the Nez Perce. They told stories of 7 evil spirits who tried to claw their way to the surface and were turned to stone. The mountains you see today, they said, are those very spirits frozen mid-struggle. Modern hikers tell a different story. When fog rolls in from the river, voices rise with it. Not screams, more like pleading. Come closer. Over here. And they always sound familiar. In 1986, a park ranger reported hearing a young boy crying for help near the overlook. He searched until dark, found nothing. The next morning, they discovered footprints leading toward the edge, then stopping. Others have seen a lone figure on the rock's edge, arms spread as if preaching to the canyon. He vanishes when clouds move. Whether it's spirits, echoes, or the mountain itself speaking, no one really knows. But locals agree. At Devil's Pulpit, you don't answer the voices. You just listen and leave. 4. Garden Creek Trestle. In Canyon County, rust and cedar frame an old railroad bridge over Garden Creek. The line's been dead for decades, but the trestle still stands half wood, half ghost. They call it the Crying Bridge, and it's not just a nickname. Long ago, a train derailed on that curve, plunging into the creek below. Among the dead was a young woman traveling to meet her fiancé in Boise. Legend says she survived the crash, but when rescuers reached her, she was searching frantically for her lover's body. She never found him. Weeks later, they found her shawl tied to the bridge railing. Ever since, drivers who parked beneath the trestle claim to hear soft sobs drifting down with the wind. Walk the tracks at night and you might hear footsteps behind you, heels on steel. Then a whisper, "Wait for me." In 2014, a pair of paranormal investigators recorded what sounded like a woman humming. The sound cut off the moment one said her name aloud. Coincidence? Maybe. But in this part of Idaho, coincidence is just another word for story. People leave flowers by the bridge in spring, not because they believe in ghosts, because they respect sorrow that old. 5. Kelly's Hot Springs. Near Kuna, where farmland meets desert, lies Kelly's Hot Springs, a place that looks harmless enough. Pools of mineral water bubble gently between cottonwoods, the air smelling faintly of sulfur and sage. But locals say the springs heal one thing and take another. Before settlers came, native tribes used these waters for ritual cleansing. Some say the spirits never left. In the 1930s, a man named Eli Parker built a bathhouse here. He vanished within a year, leaving only his boots by the pool. Since then, strange things have followed the water. Soakers tell of feeling a hand press gently against their back steady, guiding only to turn and find no one. Others claim to hear whispering through the steam. One woman swears she saw a child's face ripple beneath the surface, eyes open, mouth moving like it was trying to speak. Skeptics laugh it off as wind and heat, but ask any local rancher, they'll tell you to say thank you before you leave the springs. It's not fear, it's courtesy, because the water there listens and it all answers one way or another. Even scientists studying geothermal vents here admit the springs sometimes pulse in rhythm, as if breathing. Maybe that's the earth, maybe it's something older. 5 places, 5 echoes of lives that refuse to fade. A miner who never left his shift, a barmaid who waited one night too long, a mountain that speaks in lost voices, a bridge that still remembers love and loss, and a spring that listens back. Individually, they're legends. Together, they paint a picture of Idaho as few see it, a landscape where history never really stays buried. These are not the loud, tourist-ready hauntings of Hollywood. These are quiet hauntings, the kind that come as a chill when the road bends out of sight, or as a whisper that sounds a little too much like your own name. Ask anyone who grew up here and they'll tell you, weird isn't rare in Idaho. It hides in old mines, seeps up through hot springs, drifts across bridges and mountain fog. It's not a threat, it's a reminder that every place remembers what happened there, even when people forget. So if you ever find yourself on a long Idaho night, driving through the Oahees or the Seven Devils, and you see a single lantern light swaying in the dark, don't stop. Just nod. Because that's not danger out there. That's memory, still doing its rounds. Every state has its legends. But Idaho's are different. They're not told to scare you, they're told to keep you company. And maybe that's what makes them last so long.